August is shaping up to be a big month for South Korea's largest tech firm, Samsung Electronics. At its recent Unpacked event, Samsung showcased its 5G-enabled Galaxy Z Fold 3 and Flip 3 phones, which will be available later this month, introducing new and exciting features. But that's not the only release that's been making the news. The company's de facto leader, Lee Jae-yong, getting paroled from prison, is expected to give the firm a significant boost in confidence. We discuss these developments and the prospects for South Korea's #1 tech company. And for this, I'm joined by globally respected tech journalist Stephen FENECH, editor of Tech Guide in Australia, and a leading South Korean economist, Yang Jun-seok, professor of economics at the Catholic University of Korea. Very warm welcome to you both. Thank you for joining us. And, well, a lot of exciting news for Samsung to start off the month of May. And to start with you, Stephen, now Samsung showcased its latest smartphones and smart devices, which can be pre-ordered from Tuesday in Korea. What stood out to you the most from this recent Unpacked event?
Well, definitely it'd have to be the foldable phones, the two new devices, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and the Galaxy Z Flip 3. They are the third generation already of this new technology, and I think were the absolute highlight. And I think Samsung really putting the wood behind the arrow with these products. I think that they're of the notion that foldable smartphones are about to become mainstream. They've had enough practice at it. They've been this is the third generation, as I mentioned. So a lot of new features, a lot of improvements that will entice customers even further.
Now, I'm a bit afraid to ask, Stephen, because last time your analysis convinced me to change my phone. So that almost sort of broke the bank for me last year. So, well, what were your impressions of the new foldable phones? I mean, which one do you like better?
Well, I've actually got both of them here, would you believe? So I've been using the Galaxy Z Fold 3 as my daily driver. That's been my phone that I've been using every day. The Galaxy Z Flip 3, though, I think is of appeal, I think, to more fashion style conscious users. The fact that it can fold in half and is so small and portable is attractive to customers. But I think the Z Fold 3 offers this amazing large screen inside, now has S Pen compatibility as well. So fans of the Galaxy Note can now use the large screen on the inside of the Galaxy Z Fold 3 to write, to draw, take notes. I think that's going to be a huge attraction for those customers. So I think the Z Fold 3 for me is my favorite. I use this as my device I can even edit my website on the move with this product. So for me personally, that's my choice. The Z Flip 3, though, will have a huge appeal to those customers who don't want a big phone, but also want that large screen when they need it.
Many people are excited about that pen as well. Now, Jun-seok, that wasn't the only big development over the weekend, though. Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong, he was granted parole on Friday. How crucial is Lee Jae-yong's leadership at Samsung Electronics at the moment for its future? And also, more importantly, how important is it for the future of the Korean economy?
Okay, well, let's start with the latter question first. How important is Samsung to Korea's economy? Well, about 20% of Korea's exports are semiconductors, and majority of that comes from Samsung Electronics. So just from that, Samsung Electronics takes more than 5% of Korea's GDP, but it's not just semiconductors. The Samsung Group also makes smartphones, as Mr. FENECH just mentioned. It also has a gamut of companies ranging from finance to producing biotech, like vaccines. Samsung Biologics is scheduled to make Moderna vaccines sometime in the near future. So Samsung probably runs about 10% of Korea's economy just by itself, Samsung Group. And its stock capitalization is about 20% of KOSPI, and it is a technological leader in many fields in Korea, semiconductors, electronics, biotech. So it is very crucial to the Korean economy. But is Lee Jae-yong a crucial person for Samsung Group, Samsung Electronics? Well, typically when you have a stock capitalist company, there's usually not a critical person. If you see a company in the United States or Europe getting into trouble with the law, you usually change that person. You usually get rid of the CEO and run the company with a new CEO. But because of Korea's chaebol system, that is not always possible. The chaebol system is a curious mixture of a family-run company and a stock company. So Lee Jae-yong being the head of the Lee household, it's thought of as being the head of the company as well, even though that's questionable legally speaking. So it's like having your head of the household back, and while it may not be legally so, at least culturally and from the point of view of the company, Lee is the owner of the company. And if you want to make a group-wide decision, if you want to make an important decision, well, you have to get approval from the head of the household, and that's the function that basically Lee Jae-yong serves.
Right, and well, it seems like he didn't get a presidential pardon or 2 pardons like his father, but many are looking to him to make some executive decisions. What are you hoping to see?
Well, I'm hoping to see a more rapid movement on the Samsung's foundries. There has been a lot of concerns from the United States and Korea that Samsung should expand its foundry, but the foundry factories really take a lot of capital, and it has to be made on the group-wide decision rather than just in terms of Samsung Electronics. So we hope to see some movement there. There has been some concerns over the smartphone as well because, well, Samsung is still a leader in smartphones, but there has been concerns that the Chinese firms are catching up while Samsung is not catching up to the industry leaders, Apple. And then we hope to see some more aggressive M&As so that Samsung can have some new technology, new blood coming in so that it could be more innovative.
Well, Stephen, Samsung is definitely looking to the future, and it's defined that as foldables. It's called Foldables, the future, and also the new mainstream of smartphones. What do you think about this? I mean, is there enough of a market right now for foldables and flippables for them to become mainstream?
Well, the foldable market is still very much in its infancy. I think these latest products, though, have a lot of improvements that will attract customers. I think the perception of foldable devices in the past, while they were a novelty, they were also considered quite fragile. So I think the fact that they now have an IPX8 rating, so it makes them water resistant and dust resistant. And also they're made of stronger material. They're made out of armor aluminium. So I think that they're sturdier, they're now water resistant. And with the addition of the S Pen, that's also attractive. But I think the biggest move by Samsung with these products is cutting the price. Compared to last year's prices, they are several $100s cheaper than last year's model. So that again, for a customer who may have been out of their reach a year ago, may well find themselves now able to afford this latest technology. But the whole foldable segment of the market is still quite small. There's still customers still trying to get to grips with it. I think the big question everyone's asking is, what is Apple's move here? What are they going to do? I think once they decide to enter this space, then for many customers, then it becomes official. A lot of customers don't think it's real until till Apple jumps into that proportion of the market. So it is this though, I think, is going to be really attractive for customers. You're going to see a huge uptake of foldables. The category is going to grow massively this year.
Right. Well, with Stephen, though, but with Huawei somewhat out of the picture and LG also exiting its mobile division this year, do you think the competition between Samsung and Apple is going to intensify? I mean, what are Samsung's strengths and weaknesses that it can sort of look up on when it goes forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think Apple and Samsung, it's a battle royale between these two massive companies. And Samsung's strength is that they're quite a nimble company for being such a large company. They can move quite quickly, respond to customer demands. I understand that a lot of the features with these new phones were the result of customer feedback that they could implement into the latest model within months. So that's a massive strength. The weakness for Samsung on the mobile front, well, there aren't many weaknesses. I think the their portfolio is quite strong. There is a little bit of concern that they're leaving out the Galaxy Note category now. Now the S Pen is part of the Galaxy Z Fold and compatible with this new device. There's a lot of customers who are very fond of the Galaxy Note who are wondering whether that device will come back. I understand it may not come back because S Pen will work with S21 and also now with the new Galaxy Z Fold. But yeah, I think not many weaknesses from a company the size of Samsung. They've got their ecosystem of products, not only the phones, but their wearables and also their earphones. The whole Galaxy ecosystem is quite strong.
And well, Stephen, what did you think about the new Galaxy Watch? Is it on par with the iPhones or Apple's Watch?
Apple Watch, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the new Galaxy Watch 4 series does have a lot of new features, and it's all down the path of health and wellness. Apple had their ECG functionality we activated here in Australia, and I understand that the Samsung Watch 4 has already been pre-approved by our local Therapeutic Goods Administration to allow the ECG functionality as well. There's a lot of monitoring technology on board, so sensors that can give you your body composition, your heart rate, even monitor your sleep. So I think with the new UI as well that was developed by Google in association with Samsung, there's not only a new operating system, a new user interface, but also this updated hardware with sensors that can really give you a complete picture of your exercise and your health, as well as being a smart device that can give you your notifications and let you know when calls are coming in. I think that's going to really boost the Samsung's ecosystem as well.
Now, Junseok, a lot of new products being released by Samsung this week, and well, what can we expect from its third quarter earnings report then?
Okay, well, the second quarter earnings report was actually very good. The revenues were 64 trillion won and operating profit was 12.6 trillion won. About 36% of revenues came from semiconductors and 55% of the profits operating profits came from the semiconductors, and the IT and mobile, of which smartphones are a part, that accounted again for about 36% of revenues but 25% of profit. So that goes to show, I think, more competitiveness in the smartphone market compared to the semiconductor market. What the Samsung's earnings report said was that they expect the second half of the year to be fairly steady. So they probably expect the third quarter earnings report to be somewhat close to the second quarter earnings report, no big surprises. But some of the analysts have some concerns about the semiconductor market at the second half of the year. Some people believe that the current strength of demand for semiconductors in the second half of the year might weaken because a lot of companies have now built up an inventory stock of semiconductors, probably because of some of the fears of shortages that we have in the earlier part of the year. And also they believe that investment into IT servers and such are going to slow down at the latter part of the year. But still, Samsung itself expects a steady market for the second part of the year. And for the smartphones, the demand does seem to be falling compared to the last few years. Whether Samsung can recover basically depends on, as Mr. FENECH said, whether this foldable phone becomes an equivalent of a killer app that everybody wants to have, or whether it just reduces to another novelty that people don't really want that much.
And on that note, Stephen, what would you like to see from Samsung in its future phones or smart accessories?
Well, I think Samsung's doing a pretty good job already. I think the Note that I mentioned, the Galaxy Note phone, I think that had a huge place in the market. Maybe not everyone wants to buy a foldable device, but still want to be productive and use the S Pen in future. A lot of my readers and listeners have reacted that really poorly that the Note hasn't been refreshed again, which is normally what happens at this time of year. But I think moving forward, Samsung has really strengthened their portfolio. I think, like Apple, they've really created a great ecosystem for their customers. Once you're in that ecosystem, it is very hard to leave it. So I think Samsung's made their ecosystem even more enticing. So I think they're on a good path, and I think they're going to have a great year this year.
But we can expect more, we can expect fiercer rivalry between Samsung and Apple, I suppose. But well, this is where we must leave the interview. That was Stephen FENECH, editor of Tech Guide, and Yang Jun-seok, professor of economics at the Catholic University of Korea. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And to our viewers, as always, thank you very much for watching.